again,
in the car.
with the Osceola roof project. So they're continuing on the Osceola roof, and I know last time we had said that we felt like there was not going to be any additional expenses past the last $24,000, but there was an additional expense of an additional $24,000. It's kind of funny how they both were $24,000. But anyway, so it's a little confusing, but so we did spend that money down there. I also emailed everyone a proposal. It's just a proposal for the additional items as far as like the terracotta repair and the, some additional exterior repair that could potentially be done by Renaissance Roofing in the Osceola project. It's a kind of a laundry list. I mean, it includes all sorts of things, including some pigeon removal stuff. And the total on it, they've individualized the totals, and it'll just pretty much be up to the judge as to which one of those he picks to do. That money's down there. It will probably exhaust all of their remaining money. So that's kind of the update on what's going on down there. The Evergreene Proposal, you know, I know we talked about it, and we were waiting on a price. It did come back. It was about double what's in the budget. So Aaron has decided to send it back and kind of ask for ways that maybe we can reduce that cost and get it a little bit more closer to what's already in the budget. And that's under line item 44, the decorative painting in a large courtroom. So if you're just curious as to how much double would be, so it was quite a bit. Again, that proposal not only included the ceiling, there was some additional like work that was going to be done on the walls. It's really, I mean, it's an interesting design. Hopefully we can make something work. I hope so. This morning we had the meeting with the contractor and the judge and the architect, and I just went ahead and attached the kind of the agenda for that meeting so that you could look it over and see if you had any questions. It just kind of gives you a recap of actually what's going on over there right now. The only thing that really kind of stands out is probably the unsound plaster work. It's under item D, letter A. So that's always been an expense that they knew would probably have to come out of the contingency. So apparently there's, you know, when they did the bid, they could look at they could see so much of the plaster and they could kind of give an estimate. But I guess as you start getting in there with that part, you kind of have to you have to chip away till you find something that you can attach back to. And there's a little bit of an unknown there. So they're still kind of they're still working on getting together. Aaron and Mr. Brownlee are both working with contractors very hard to make sure that we are getting the best possible deal on that one. Really, there's some vents that needed to be repositioned. There will be a change order for that. It won't be much, probably $3,000 or $4,000. Not anything too big. Really, other than that, that was really about it this morning.
What about, do they feel like they're on schedule?
They do. They lost some days because of the weather last week. Overall, they still feel like that July of next year is a finished month anyway. One of the questions, so each month, I contact the construction company and ask how much they think the pay app will be. I mean, again, that's just a guesstimate, But here the last few months, the estimate that they have been giving me and what they've actually been, the pay-apps have actually been, the pay-apps have been a lot less. So I'll give you like an instance, like last month, he said he thought this month's pay-app would be $850,000. Well, it's only $250,000. So this morning I did question to make sure that we were not getting too far behind, that they were keeping up with the, that they felt like they were staying on schedule. They felt they're saying they're on schedule. So that is, Rick's over there quite a bit. What do you think, Rick? Just a second, Ash, sorry.
Yeah, they're moving along. I mean, I've done the rough-in on the electrical on the first floor. Second floor is about 90% complete. Understanding that they're starting the third floor this week. They're actually hoping to get out into the new construction part, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So I think that as far as pay-apps, it's just been one of those things that a lot of what their big expenses are trying to hang steel and pour concrete. And that probably got slowed down by the rain, pouring the concrete, because most of the steel is already up. So I think the concrete may have slowed them down, and those are usually your big expenses.
And we talked about the plaster. So the subcontractor came back over today, and that's where Aaron and Mr. Brownlee both are. They're going over it with them and to kind of just to get together on the numbers a little bit. It will be a little bit more expensive it will be a little bit more expensive than what we thought originally, but it's going to go nice. It'll fit comfortably in our budget over here. So that's kind of where we are. So we can take a look at the budget. I really feel like this month we have worked really hard to make the budget as accurate as possible. One of the things that you'll see here is the line 37, the construction contingency has gone down from the 350 to 310,000, and that is because of the courtroom asbestos abatement that we talked about. They finished that, Goolsby did that, so we took it out of the contingency there.
So we're done with asbestos?
We're done with asbestos as far as we know.
Good.
Unless
No, we're done with asbestos.
yeah, we're done with asbestos. So.
If you walk through it, it's so stripped out. If there's any more asbestos, it's probably behind the plaster and it's not going to come out.
So basically, we did do an adjustment a little bit to line 78. If you get to looking at and comparing month to month, you'll notice that this line 78 went down a little bit from last month. So we took a couple of things out and put them to where they would be more accurately represented. Like I'll give you. So the purchase of the rescue building was $200,000, and then the abatement. I think what was it? A survey or inspection was like $595. So he took that out of line 78 and put it in line 76. One of the other things that we were not accounting for or may have been accounting for in line 78 was Mr. Brownlee's expenses. And so we gave him a line there, which is line 76. And that's usually pretty much just mileage, a couple of other things. But so those are, let's see, the re-roof. We did, okay, and if you'll look over here in the re-roof box, we did split the fees and expenses between Blyble and Osceola. So the Blyble expenses were $45,223, and the Osceola fees were $74,777. Aaron made mention that as we continue to do work in Osceola, that he will change those percentages. I talked with him and the judge this morning, and if it's okay with you, I would just like to just stop it where it is, and stop readjusting the fees. The original, Mississippi County, the contract for Osceola was something. I just don't think we should deduct any more. I don't think we should keep changing the fees around. What do y'all think? We can.
What do you mean? Like before, where we took the 72,005 out, you don't think we should try to do that anymore?
I think we should just leave it alone from here on out. As Osceola continues to do things, that percentage will continue to go up, and it'll just simply change. It'll take away from the Blyville and put over into the Osceola roof project. The reason why I think that we should just kind of cap it where it is because Aaron has capped his expenses, or his fee for doing it at 120. So we will not incur any more fee cost. It is set. Now it's just kind of based on the percentage. And does that make sense? Am I explaining that correctly?
Yes,
I think you're right. I think we should just
just leave it alone.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, that's Osceola's benefit, so I agree with you.
Well, it's just he capped his, and I feel like that if we continue on, it's just, I don't know. I just don't know if it's the right thing. So when we redid that, when we split those fees back, the remaining obligation to Osceola is $555,231.
That's just about what they think the additional work is going to take, or right in that amount.
Well, if what I sent to you, the proposal, you'll notice. It is a lot more. It's probably got, I don't know. I would say $1.5 million dollars worth of additional things that could potentially be done in Osceola. Aaron has given his recommendations as to what those things are. We will not be able to do all of them with that $555,000. It won't even, I don't know that it'll even get to half of it, to be honest with
Well,
you.
maybe we can borrow that 870 something over there.
So, let's see, really, those are really the only changes. We have not really had any change orders. We have not continued on any of the allowances. We did update the interest, and if you'll notice, we did, and that's on lines 85, 86, and 87. And so if you'll notice those, we did separate those out just to make it a little bit easier to understand. So there's one CD, and then there's the interest earned from the Blyville checking account and the interest earned from the Osceola checking account. So when we drop down to the bottom, the difference remaining that's not designated, that did go up substantially from last month to $642,000. So overall, between the 640 and the 310, I think our budget is in good shape.
Would the interest earned by the Blyville checking account versus the Osceola checking account, is there just a lot more money in the Blyville checking account? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
I figured there wasn't a big difference in the interest rate, because I think the last Peggy,
Because right now, should have about 555,000 in Osceola's checking.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
we've got
Right.
we're keeping right around $1 million in the Blyville. That's why it's just almost double.
Maybe more because it's, we put $2 million in there.
And we
so-
haven't, you're right.
We haven't spent it all.
And we haven't, we've accounted for some expenses that we actually haven't.
well, I remember
paid.
Peggy talking about she was getting a real good deal from First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas on interest on some stuff, so she started using them, so I don't know what bank it's in.
Yeah.
Is it in that bank, or do you know?
I don't know.
I think the CD and Blyville's checking account is probably the farmers, because that's where they originally started it out at. And I'm not sure about the Osceola, where we put it. I kind of thought
Do you know,
all of
Kelly?
it was going to the same bank.
Yeah, the checking accounts are at Farmers. And the original CD was at Farmers, but I don't know where it's at.
Really, the only other I mean, that's really it as far as, I think the budget looks great. I will, one item probably that we'll have to look at in the future, but we're certainly not anywhere close to that, will be the anticipated moving expenses back. We'll just kind of have to see how that goes. I noticed Leslie said yesterday in finance that, she has to move her filing equipment, and that was substantial when she moved it over there. So we may need to look at that line item. But right now we are in good shape. One thing that I would really like to do is I'd like to commend Aaron on working with the other elected officials. He and Stephen have set up appointments so that he can meet with those elected officials, do a walkthrough to make sure that they know, what their space is going to look like, where they're going to put their plug-ins, how much, how many plug-ins they need, some other things like that. I think that's a really good move on his part. And it is taking him a little bit of time to get to everybody, but I think that's a good move. So, anyway. All right, Cindy, the farmland. I don't really know much about it.
Okay, we have, take this off so you can hear me. The farmland bid is always the last week in November. And we have to do a proof of publication, advertising the land twice before that. So we need to set a date. So I'll know when to put the notice in the paper. And I found back in the 2017 file a list of 6 farmers to contact that Judge Brassfield had. And if anybody else has anybody else they want on the list.
Who's on the list?
Okay, John Langston, Fred Austin, Mike Ellison, Tillman Farms, Hopper Farms, Justice Kennemore. But Justice Kennemore never comes back with anybody he wants anybody to call.
Could you say them again, please? And you can, Mike Ellison, he retired, so he's,
Yeah, I thought Mike did, so we take him off the list. John Langston, Fred Austin at Hardy Sales, Tillman Farms, and my contact there is Chad Tillman, Hopper Farms, and that's Tony or Buddy. Does anybody else have anybody else they'd like to be contacted?
I think we should definitely.
Mr. Cross knows
Yeah.
since he has it this year.
Yeah.
And 20% is cash rent, 20% is due on April the 1st, with the remaining balance on December the 31st or harvest, whichever comes first.
We do a cash price rent, it's not crop rent, right?
No, it said cash rent.
You're thinking, what day do you think it will be in the paper?
It'll run,
Is it going to Sunday
last year,
edition?
it ran like, how's the paper come out now, on Tuesday, Monday, and, no, Saturday,
It's
and
Wednesday.
considered a
Saturday and
Sunday
Thursday, I think.
edition, I think.
I can do one week before the bid date and one the week before that, or I can do them all in 1 week, whichever y'all
What
would
is gonna
prefer.
be the bid date?
Pardon me?
What would be the bid date?
I haven't set one. I didn't know if y'all wanted to set that date or not. Sometime the last week in November.
Well,
that's the
last
week of
week is gonna be Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
The 30th is on a Monday, the week after Thanksgiving.
Be best to set it before Thanksgiving, wouldn't it?
We could do it the week before Thanksgiving. I don't think there's an ordinance anywhere that says it has to be
Well, we could open it on Monday before Thanksgiving, the 23rd.
we could do that.
That would be the opening date, so.
November 23rd.
Does it specify the number of days before the opening that we have to run it?
The bid notice reads, Mississippi County is accepting bids for a 1-year cash rent contract on county farmland. Bid specifications are at the Blytheville Courthouse, Judge's Office, the address. Bid opening will be Monday, the 23rd at 1:30 p.m. in the County Judge's Office, and of course it'll be in Burdette, so instead of Blytheville.
So
Still want to,
it doesn't give us a specific amount of days it has to run before.
I think it's 10
10.
days.
So if
And
we
that's-
started
that's
on the
the minimum.
9th, or if we,
So if you ran it like on the, had it run on the 8th, let's say the 4th and the 8th,
I don't think they count the weekends, do they?
well,
I think it's Monday through Friday.
if you go back to the 4th and the 8th, it really wouldn't matter. That would be a Wednesday and a Sunday paper.
That'd be good.
Okay, so run the notices on November the 4th and November the 8th for those 2 days. Okay, 1:30 at Judge's Office in Burdette, okay with everybody? Okay,
But they don't have what's on the paper. They have a Wednesday and a Saturday.
Wednesday and Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do is, before this November the 4th, is I'll send the bid notice to the paper with both dates to run it on, and then I get them a call to make sure they got the notice, and then for them to send me a confirmation that it is going in the paper those 2 days.
Well, the Saturday would be the 7th, the 4th would be a Wednesday. So those, right there in that week would be, I think would probably be best. That way they got their notice and then we can open them on the 23rd.
Okay.
If we think of somebody else that we'd like to have called, can we just give you a call? Or we
Yes,
can
sir, that'd be
call?
fine.
and this, will this be on the Facebook page?
We didn't do it last year for that. It was mostly just random newspaper.
The,
Where is the
what do y'all
land
think?
located?
I think it would
Out
be
by the
beneficial to be
landfill.
on the Facebook page and let more people
What
know.
about the Hart
I think
Boys?
so.
Yeah.
I thought about the Hearts. I don't know if they would be interested. I can give Greg or
Yeah, one's gonna live in Marion, one's gonna live in Manila. They're gonna be all over.
I'll call them too.
Well, I think the idea would be to, you know, to have as many as we can
Yeah.
to find, you
I
know.
realize it says we only have to advertise it twice, but I do think putting it on Facebook and even on the county webpage would be a good idea,
Yeah, I think so.
just to get it out to more people.
Well, and I know quite a few farmers are on Twitter. Do you handle the Twitter?
I did.
Okay. All right. So I did get out of order. I will back up. So after this pay app, back to the courthouse. So after this pay app, we will have roughly $930,000 appropriated. I would ask that the committee consider appropriating another $250,000, which will make up for this one and kind of put us back where we were last month.
That's good.
I make a motion that we ask finance to move another $250,000 to the,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Any discussion? Sorry, no, I'm out of order. Okay, so we'll send that to finance. The next meeting schedule, let's see, we are on the 6th. Will be on November the 3rd. And we'll just do that at 1:30 unless something pops up. One thing that I don't know if any of you guys had a chance to watch, but Preserve Arkansas did come. They did a Facebook Live segment on the courthouse here in Blytheville and also the courthouse in Osceola. It was a good segment. They had quite a few viewers. They were very pleased with the response that they've gotten from it. So it's a good piece. If that's it, that's all I have. Unless anybody else has anything.
amen.